up? My name is Gabriel Cardenas, artist GBRL. I'm a painter, musician, poet, organizer, educator, all that. Yeah.
All right.
Not all that, but yeah, a couple of those things.
He's taking it back to the 90s, all that. This is all
Love that show. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm really excited to have you on Creators Weekly. Obviously, you're somebody that I've known for a while now. I've definitely had a chance to kind of see your art grow and see you develop as an artist, which is really cool. Oh my God, this is my favorite song.
I love this song.
Me too. Killing Me Softly, Lauryn Hill. Shout out to Lauren. But going back to you, I definitely wanted to interview you for a couple of reasons. You are somebody that I have followed for different reasons. One of them being is that you do take your education very seriously. Not every artist does. Myself, I did go to school, but school just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And what I like to learn is from people that take school seriously and kind of find out what is important to you about your education and why you chose the career path of being a student right now.
Yeah, so, I grew up a brown kid in the United States of America. My parents, came to this country to try to give us a better life and all that good stuff. And it was very beautiful, and they worked hard. And since I was a little kid, there was two main things that were going on in my house. It was like work hard and go to school. So for me, it was like, all right, I don't want to go to school. I want to make music. I want to make art. I want to relax. But one of the main things that got me interested was my family always traveled back and forth to Mexico to go visit family.
Okay.
And I would see very stark contrasts between rich and poor, or between haves and have-nots, reflecting on my life, my upbringing, what I was able to have as opposed to what family members weren't able to have.
Okay.
So that really opened up my mind a lot.
What age did you start seeing that?
Since I was 8, 9, 12, and it was just a trip to be able to occupy different spaces that were people had access to shit and other people didn't. So when I graduated high school, I went to Ventura College and I studied sociology. Okay. Because sociology is the study of societies, and I was kind of really interested in that because I thought if I know how society is structured or works, then I'll be able to have some answers as to why things are fucked up.
Okay.
So that's kind of where my interest started, and yeah, ever since then it just started. Every class I took, everything I learned just started blowing my mind.
And you've stayed on that same ideal path, or have you ventured off kind of into something different?
Yeah.
Or has your core always kind of remained the same?
Well, given how the undergraduate structure works, you have to graduate to get your bachelor's.
Right.
You have to graduate in something with one major. So that major I kept following was sociology. So I did 4 or 5 years of that, and on the side I was taking art classes, I was taking geography classes, I was taking globalization classes, music classes, just other things, because I was always also a very naturally curious person.
Same. I get that.
So I wanted to learn a little bit about everything as much as I could. I mean, college was free, shout out to Bog Waiver and shit like that. But
it works for some people. Good job.
Yeah, and then the thing is that given the opportunities that I've had, I was always I was really big on don't waste your opportunities kind of thing, and I also didn't believe in having a 9-to-5 job or sitting at a desk. And I thought if I kept going to school, kept studying, then I could just pay for my art. I could do the art on the side and not really
So where did the love for art come from? Was it just because I know a lot of creatives that often found it later in life. Have you always been a creative person?
I think I have. I mean, since I was a kid, my dad was a mechanic, so there was always tools, and I remember breaking apart toys.
And that is an art form. People need to know. Everything is an art form.
Yeah,
it's a craft.
Tools, mechanics, and all that stuff. So I was always playing with tools, taking apart toys, putting them back together. We had blocks. Kids should still have blocks.
Legos, all that good stuff.
All that shit, because you're building shit.
Is that how you say it? Erectisets?
I don't know.
Those mechanical
but probably,
ones?
Oh, yeah.
I'm aging myself here, but I swear it's called Erectisets or something like that. Oh. I know. It was on Sandlot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are called, right?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm aging myself a lot here.
91.
Anyway, continue.
Okay. So yeah, it was basically like just working with things and working with my hands. I naturally, in like third grade, I made some friends that would draw a lot of Goku and Dragon Ball Z, and that was like my favorite show.
Yeah.
So once I learned how to draw Goku, that's like where it took off.
You changed your world.
Yeah, I just started drawing on all my homework because I guess I wasn't caring about homework that much, and I saw it as free paper to draw because I didn't have those resources at home. So in sixth grade, my English teacher was like, "Stop drawing on your homework. I'm gonna make you take an art class." So I took an art class sixth grade at the middle school, and then I took sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, took art class, and then that just changed my life. Like I learned so much in art class. I was pretty good apparently to be put in like a special group with other kids that were a little better than some of the other kids or something, or had a natural knack for it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, and then so I was like always making art. I was the youngest of like five kids, so my older brothers, some of them had gone to college, so that was already instilled in me, but some of them were also like into radical politics, or like Rage Against the Machine, the Zapatistas, EZLN movement, Chicano studies, Chicano feminism, Frida Kahlo, Che Guevara, Bob Marley. These thinkers were always around posters and like
it's
music.
Interesting that those thinkers are often artists themselves.
Exactly, yeah. So they're pushing the wave in their own time and space, and I feel like for ourselves and what I try to do now with my art is do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
that's the other thing I was definitely going to mention, and that I think people need to know is your art speaks to me in a different way because I feel like it does have a political message often. I may not be as educated on politics as some people, but I know that when I look at your art, I feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And even tonight, where we are, shout out to Seaward Brewing for having us out. The Creators Collective is here with Creators Weekly, and it even struck conversations with people that I've had here. You know, your art and what it means, and hearing that conversation with you and people looking at it, like that to me is what art is all about. Like art should strike a conversation, and I really like that you implement that into your artwork and you put a message out there. So that is a question that I have. Have you always put a message into your artwork, or has that been something that you're more recently doing?
I'm not sure. I think, you know, being around it like all my life, I was adapted to it, so it was only a matter of time, I guess, before I started doing it. And again, given my background, given where I come from, being a brown person in a white America, like, it's just real. Like, so if this is the only voice I have, I'm gonna use it for like to better society, you know. Absolutely. So yeah, hell yeah.
I also appreciate that you do have different mediums. I love that you are also a poet, spoken word. I consider you a lyricist because that's what a lyricist is. But I'm always curious to know where your heart is. Like, is your heart torn between all these mediums, or do you have a favorite? Like, is there one that you're drawn to more?
I think it comes with the seasons, you know, or it changes like where you're at mentally, physically, psychologically. And you need to have like different art forms to deal with different situations. So again, being creative, I have also always been kind of torn or like fearful of that whole like jack of all trades, master of none. But don't believe the hype, you know. It's really about mending a broken heart, mending a soul, and healing and doing whatever that looks like. So for me, it looks like poetry, it looks like hip hop, it looks like art, it looks like fixing a car, like it looks like hiking, gym, like all these things are art forms.
One of my favorite forms of meditation is my long drives. Like driving is definitely a form of meditation for me, and I get a lot of ideas while I'm driving and creativity, looking around at scenery and stuff. So I definitely appreciate that you're saying that, because sometimes you also get caught up in the fact that you feel like you should be focusing on one, but at the same time, like you said, like today you can wake up and want to do one thing, and tomorrow you can wake up and not want to do that. And I also feel like a lot of mental health issues, a lot of people think that that's depression. That isn't necessarily depression. You're just looking for an outlet for your creativity, and it is okay to change, and it's okay to not be stuck in one job or one study or one thing. So I really think that's cool that you are able to dabble in a bunch of different stuff, and you know, you're very good at all of them. So that's
Thank you. I
good to
appreciate
watch,
that.
and I love watching you grow. I also appreciated that you came out to the Creators Collective last year many times when we just got started.
Yeah, always support, you know.
I also saw more recently that you're teaching now, and I feel like there might have been a connection through the museum from the Creators Collective. So I'd like you to kind of talk about that a little bit.
I mean, thanks to the Creators Collective and the alignment of the stars and all that beautiful stuff. I was able to meet one of the persons that runs or helps out with the museum at Santa Paula, and we just connected, and she liked what I do with my work, with my artwork, the education aspect that I drive behind it, and she was all for it. They were all for it, so we worked out on a program, and I'll be teaching like teen art
That's awesome.
classes with they want to incorporate, you know, art as activism and art as education, which for me is beautiful because that's kind of what my whole research and my knowledge and education is about. So
that's awesome.
Little by little, all the pieces fall into place, and
that's
you know,
beautiful.
you gotta trust it. And,
I'm so glad that you're having an opportunity to teach the youth, because I know you've kind of dabbled in that in the past. I've seen it. You've gone to Mexico. You've been in the autonomous communities. I've seen all that and that growth, and to be able to do it here locally, like that's really dope. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I believe, you know, art is I think in order to deal with like the situations in our life, in our society, we got to think creatively to adapt and grow,
light change
and respond to situations. So
let there be light.
So you know, art is light, art is love, art is passion, art is knowledge and revolution,
soul,
all
definitely.
that. So.
And that's what's so interesting too about like seeing different people's artwork, because it is a reflection of themselves. And I think your art speaks very predominantly of who you are as a person, and I think that's something to be said, because some people are still trying to discover their creativity and put, not that it needs to have a certain direction, but I think you have a solid foundation, and I think it's really cool to watch you put that onto the youth and teach others to be creative and use it as an outlet. So
thank you so much.
Kudos to you, and I hope nothing but the best for your success in that, and I love watching you grow. It's awesome. So
appreciate it.
Very cool. With that being said, I like to also, you know this, touch as much as you're comfortable with on like mental health. And you know, the struggles as far as being a creative person, and kind of at times I know a lot of creatives feel lost and kind of lose a little bit of themselves or lose directions. And by a little bit of a conversation that I had with you, I believe it was just a couple months ago, I hope it wasn't already last year, but at the lab, 805, shout out to the lab, you were there for a panel discussion that they were having, and we got a chance to talk, and I like that you were kind of grounding yourself. Like, you were basically explaining to me that you have found the way you want to be and the way you don't want to be. And you were in kind of a battle mentally with yourself of trying to become the person you want to be. And so I kind of want you to kind of talk about how that evolved, and your growth, and where you think you are today, and how much more you have to learn and things like that. As much as you're comfortable.
No, it's cool. I appreciate you bringing that up, and it's important as far as like mental health and like growing. I have this thing I always tell myself is like forward progression always, and becoming, right? So we're constantly becoming, growing, shedding our old skin, growing new skin, like rattlesnakes, right? Or snakes in general. I think a lot of it just comes with like the indigenous knowledges that I've been able to grow and understand of how nature is a part of us, and we are nature, and the constellations and ecosystems, like we're all that. So as much as like the material world is hurt, like, you know, that reflects in us too, and in order to deal with that, like people need their outlets. For me, it's art, it's poetry, it's friends, it's relationships, and it's also discussing that and being open and looking in the mirror. So like reflecting on what you're saying about like or bringing up how I was at that time and becoming, you know, and where I'm at now. I think I dealt with whatever I needed to deal with at that time, but I'm still dealing with what I need to deal with right now.
Presently.
You know, or presently, exactly. And whether it be like finishing this master's, whether it be relationships, whether it be family, things like that. Again, the only way I can do it is facing that head on, and that's not easy for everybody. It took for me a lot of years of self-reflection, of growth, again.
It can be a dark place sometimes.
Very dark,
Definitely.
and one of the main ways I've been able to do it is again through indigenous knowledge and indigenous practices, and being able to learn from indigenous communities, Native American communities that I am so thankful for. So that is why I'm thankful to them, to this earth, to
Is that
society,
rooted
for
by
directions.
your family? Like, I know you
No,
mentioned
not
having
really.
some brothers and sisters
Yeah,
that
yeah.
were into political.
Yeah, and they were like the gateway, you
Right.
know. But I think it was me
evolved more than
finding,
that.
and like I was able to find some of these people in school too, in an institution, which is interesting. But you know, it's kind of how you use them to like not use them, but like how you
Utilize it.
how
Yeah.
you use what's around you
Right.
to help you and support you, and then also how you give back. That's
Right.
where my art takes on this type of work. That's where the community work I try and do, engagement. That's why I do art classes.
I love it.
And it's about, you know, what comes around, and like the butterfly effect. You
Everybody
know,
growing kind of together,
Yeah.
and learning from each other.
Exactly. So again, like as far as like becoming, I think I'm constantly growing, and I want to constantly be growing. We're gonna be constantly growing. That's how the world works. That's how nature works, and we are nature. So you gotta reflect on that.
I love it.
Yeah. Mental
So
health.
yeah,
Mental health.
it was deep, guys.
Yeah, and talk to people, because yeah, like
having
again,
these conversations, even because I feel like you said, a lot of people aren't open to having the conversation because they're scared or they're just not
yeah,
sure in
it's
themselves.
a lot to face. It's a lot to face.
But the cool thing is I'm hoping with this that somebody is hearing your story and your journey and learning from it and
Yeah.
understanding that they're not alone. They're not the only person that feels lost at times. They're not the only
Yeah.
person that feels like they need to have a purpose. They need to do things with meaning. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So thank you again for
Yeah, of
being on
course.
here and sharing part of you, because I know it's not easy either, you know. I wanted to know if you have any mediums as well that you hope to do in the
Yeah.
future, or things that kind of catch your eye.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, you're always evolving, and since
Yeah.
you do have so many mediums, I kind of want to know what's next
Yeah.
for you.
So I mean, right now I'm finishing my master's degree, and
I'm sure
I
that's
basi-
hard. Takes a lot of time.
Yeah, you know, it's cool. You know, it is what you make it. So think positive, you get positive results.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also like, so I'm like working on being an educator, like whether it's in a university setting or creating my own university or creating my own schools. I think based on like autonomous societies, we need to build our own and not expect other things. Like I was just thinking the other day, like we still haven't built any more universities, but we're still building more jails, right? And it's a common argument that people make, but we're still not building them either. So it's
Right.
like,
It's
what are
just-
we doing?
Exactly.
And there's a couple autonomous communities, there's spaces springing up, like there's some in Santa Barbara with El Centro, of friends that I had and things like that, and like the lab is an autonomous space in its own right. And all that, you know, and it's good to organize and communicate and collect with people. But at the same time, so I want to try doing that, making more spaces that are autonomous, that are open, that are politically driven, because everything is political. But at the same time, I also want to work on making statues or like statue art, like
Structure, like sculpting?
yeah,
Okay.
sculpting art, but
Okay.
like sculpting on walls. So like just sculpting like 3D stuff, but on a wall
I
specifically.
see that a lot. Not that it's as intricate, but I see it a lot on like freeways. Like you know
Yeah,
how they
yeah.
have. Sometimes I feel like it's a waste of the city's money, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's fucking art and it's beautiful.
Exactly.
And it has to be appreciated. You know.
Yeah. So it's
Definitely.
like doing the murals, same like the mural movement with how they would do it with frescoes, but making it more 3D, like just
love
making it
it.
pop a lot more. And yeah, there's a lot of like I've seen it like in Asian countries and things like that where they kind of do that, and our indigenous cultures have done that all the time, Egypt, all that. So you gotta look back at
The
history and like
reason why I
borrow.
wanted you to talk about what you want to do and what you're hoping to do is because I feel like we really are going to manifest that for you. Like we're putting it out there, and hopefully there's going to be a connection of some sort to be able to get you to where you want to be. Because somebody out there might know, something.
me up.
Hit him up. So that is what I hope to build with my platform.
Appreciate that,
as
yeah.
little or big as it is.
We will. Yeah, you definitely are. So I
Definitely.
appreciate being on this. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you a lot as well. And is there anything coming up that you have? I know you're working on a current mural. Is there anything that you want to tell people where they can find you, social media, things like that? Just to kind of wrap it up here so you can enjoy your night and show your art.
Yeah, so my Instagram is GXBCXR. You can like Google that, all that stuff, SoundCloud, all that stuff, Facebook. But yeah, I got some murals. I'm working on a mural in Santa Paula right now. I'm gonna be working on that Teen Art Museum program in Santa Paula. Check that out. Tell everybody. Got some murals in Santa Paula. Murals in Santa Barbara if you're out there. Ortega Park, Isla Vista, La Cumbre Junior High, La Cuesta. Shout out to everybody that's ever supported me. Shout out to the lab because I fuck with them heavy. Shout out to Jessica, Wildflower, the best in the West.
Love it.
And yeah,
Take
you know,
a freestyle
like,
about me. Go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I won't be on the spot.
But yeah, it's really beautiful. Shout out to like the community that I've been able to create.
The people here, everybody, right?
Yeah, the relationships I have. I hope to keep growing. I hope I can meet new people and keep giving back love and
I love it.
Yeah, and positivity. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for being on Creators Weekly.
Yes.
And that is a wrap. I will let you
Peace.
do what you do. Bye.
Wow.
Thank you. That was awesome. Sorry, my hat.
No, it's all good.